Hi, welcome back to my channel Techie Krish. So in the Python tutorial, we discussed conditional statements, we discussed Boolean statements, we discussed repetitions using while, and we also performed some examples on while. Now I'm going to discuss the next loop, the next repetition, that is the for loop. And before I start, I should request, I will request you to kindly subscribe the channel if you have not subscribed the channel yet, and press the bell icon also so that you get the notification of the video as and when it is created. Now let's move to our presentation. So here this is a presentation where I'm going to work with for loop. So I'll explain what is the for loop and what are its components. So let's start. So what is a for loop? So a for loop is used for repeated execution over the elements of sequence. In its simplest form, the syntax of for loop is, look at the syntax. Then first we'll use for, then the variable name, then in, then range, and in parenthesis we can have three components: start, stop, and step, then colon, and press enter. Then you can write the block 1, and after that in the end of the syntax you see in square brackets else part, else colon block. It means if the loop is not running or loop is going to return empty values, then it will follow else part, although the else part is optional. So here variable is any variable name. It could be a, it could be I, whatever user wants. Range is a built-in function that produces a sequence of integers from start inclusive to stop exclusive. By step, range function can be used in three forms. So the range function is the inbuilt function which can be used in three forms. So the first form, with one parameter, means I'll use range and one parameter, that is the stop, and it will return the sequence of integers from 0 to stop -1. Means if I say range 5, so it will use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So stop, the value of stop was 5, so 5 minus 1, that is 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will generate this sequence in steps of, simply step of 1. For example, range 10, so this is a stop value, returns a sequence of integers 0 to 9 with two parameters. Range, start and stop, returns a sequence of integers from start value to step -1. Means if I enter range 2 comma 10, it means it will start from 2 and will go up to 10 minus 1, that is 9. So it will return a sequence of integers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The value of start must be less than the stop, otherwise range will return an empty sequence. So if you are using like 2 comma 10, if you write 10 comma 2, in this case it will return the empty sequence. Now C part, with three parameters, range, in brackets, in parenthesis, we'll have three components, three parameters: start, stop, and step, and it returns a sequence of integers start to stop -1 in steps of step. For example, if I apply range 2 comma 10 comma 3, returns a sequence of integers 2 with the gap of 3, that is 5 with the gap of 3, then the next value will be 8. So this is how we can use range in 3 formats. So next one, here else is an optional clause of for loop. So it depends on the user whether he or she can use or not. Now the next, when the control reaches for statement, when the program is running and the control reaches the for statement, the variable is assigned the value of its first element of the specified sequence and block 1 is executed. The variable assigned the value of the next element of the sequence and block 1 is again executed. This is repeated for all the elements of the sequence. After that, block 2, if present in the code, is executed. This can be shown by the following flowchart. You see here. So this is a flowchart. So as soon as the logic running through this flowchart, the first step will check, does sequence contain some elements? If yes, then it will ask variable first element of the sequence. So I'll decide or I'll assign the first value of the sequence to this variable. Then block 1 is executed. So after taking the value of the variable, it will come to the block 1. So block 1 is executed. And the next, is there any more? Is there more elements in the sequence? If yes, then next value of the variable comes in. So variable is equal to next element of the sequence, and it comes back to block 1 to execute again, and block 1 then it will come to this diamond. Here it will also again check, is there more element in the sequence? If yes, then the variable is updated and comes back to the block 1, and again it will come to this diamond box where the condition is checked whether any other element of sequence. If no, then block 2, if present in the program, if available in the program, is executed, and then it comes to out of the loop. And if you see this diamond box here, again a condition, whether you want to start for loop, means you are having the sequence of loop, sequence of numbers or sequence of elements. If yes, then it will come to this box, otherwise it will directly come to this box where out of the loop is encountered. So this is the first shape of the flowchart of the for loop. Now the next one, here again the same, does the sequence contain some elements? If yes, then variable is equal to first element of the sequence, and then it will execute block 1, and again it will check, is there more element in the sequence? If yes, then it will move to this. So variable value is updated here, next element of the sequence, then it will again come back to perform or execute the block 1, and after that it will come to check the condition whether it is having more element in the sequence. If no, then it will come to the end of the loop, means out of the loop, since block 2 is not there. And suppose when you enter this flowchart, in the first step, does sequence contain some elements? If it returns no, only then it will come to out of the loop. Okay, so this is how, when block 2 is available, the shape of the flowchart is different, and when the block 2 is available, then the shape of the flowchart will also be different. Now I am taking you to Colab to show you the example. So we are in Google Collaboratory. So what I am going to do here, I am going to the following is the script to display first and natural numbers, where n is the input from the user. If the user enters 0 or a negative number, the code generates no output. Otherwise, it will generate the output. So if I enter here any value, any integer, so this is the code, n is equal to eval input, enter a number. So suppose I enter 5, so n gets 5 for I in range 1 to n plus 1, so 5 plus 1, that is 6. So 1 2 3 4 5, so 5 times it will execute the block print I. So it will print 1 2 3 4 5, and after printing all these 5 integers, it will come to print done. So let's perform this also. See here, so I'm giving 5, and see, it is showing the result 1 2 3 4 and last done. So this is how this for loop works. So hope you understood the working of for. And one more thing which I want to clarify here, that it depends on the user which sort of loop, which kind of loop he or she should use for her or his application. So meet in the next video with some other scenario and programs and applications. Till then, bye bye.